introduce my colleague, Dr. Ankuran Datta. Dr. Ankuran Datta has we have worked together with the Commonwealth uh, Media Center for Asia. Uh, it is a regional office of Commonwealth of Learning, Vancouver. We both worked together in that office. And currently, Dr. Ankuran is working with Guwahati University, and he is a wonderful person on all fronts, as a friend, as a brother, and as an academic also. He has a vast experience on audio medium and community radio. He has a lot many books. I think you can see some of the corner of Almira, perhaps a lot of books and lot of work. He is very busy. I think currently he is involved in some project of UNICEF, and I think I can take the Ankuran. I can take the liberty of saying post-dated, not dot means it has gone long back, but maybe happy birthday to Alful from our side. Friends, Ankuran has all the daughters are beautiful, small daughter, and just 2-3 days ago she celebrated her 8th birthday, perhaps. So I
Ninth.
request ninth. Okay. I requested him to be with us today to share. Namaste, Arunji. To share his experiences, because he has very vast experience of working in the field. So here it is, Ankuran, and let me welcome Dr. Arunji. You heard him last week. So thank you, sir, for joining with us today also. So Ankuran, we want to hear from you, your experiences. This course is Podcasts in Education, and we have our colleagues from normally all the disciplines. Pure sciences areas are there, arts, humanities, management, and including some of the students also who are not the teaching faculty currently, but they are also there due to their interest. They have joined us in how they can take the potential of audio medium. So I request you to provide your insights, share your experiences, that how the audio medium has become so much powerful, that including even once after your presentation, before we close, I'll show you Professor Steve Wheeler. He is very senior professor in United States. Even he has released the Legends of Online Learning, his podcast, just yesterday. So I have saved this screen. I will share it. So it means it has become a very, very effective medium for not only entertainment, but for education and almost all the areas. Last means a vast majority of the topics, they are covered by the people who are professional and amateurs equally. So please advise us on how best we can make use of this media.
Thank you so much, sir, and very good evening to all of you. What Sharma sir has already mentioned, that I'm not of that much experienced, but I have been working in this field, and audio media is very near to me, and there are some reasons. So at the very beginning, just I would like to mention here that I never worked, I didn't do any podcast, but I know the medium podcast, but I would like to share some experiences with audio production more particularly, and that what is actually required for
Yes.
a podcast. So yeah, so why audio medium is so interesting, and there are millions of podcasts available nowadays in different platforms. And as we know that some of the earlier platforms which were very, very popular among us, like SoundCloud, then Anchor, then Podomatic, and so on. Archive is also there. Spreaker is another platform. Radio.com. Blabberry was also one of the it's very popular podcast medium platform, and also at the same time we had like yeah, Blabberry already I have mentioned that. Podbean nowadays Podbean also very popular, but it is not a free platform. It is means proprietary based, or you have to pay the plan from it's a very minimal, like $10 or something per month. Then Blabberry is also very popular. Then Transistor is another popular, but it is also we need to pay. There is an amount. Smart Podcast Player, another platform. Then Libsyn, another platform, and SoundCloud is very popular, and there are free plan also available for 3 hours of upload limit, and after that we need to pay a small amount of like means $6 per month. So I'm not going to discuss about these platforms. I think you are well aware about all these platforms. But how we can make a good audio program, and an audio program, how we can make it means effective for the learners, and also we have to consider that the edutainment component of production of audio programs. There are a few things actually we have to remember. That number one, audio makes the picture. So whenever we produce any program, we have to produce in that way so that the people or the learner, our students or the audience, or mainly the target audience, should visualize your words. So although it is an audio medium, but it should have that capacity to make the picture. That is the most important thing. And again, another important thing is that whenever we do a program in audio format, we have to speak to an individual, but at the same time, it should be for millions. Means that is the beautiful characteristic of an audio program. That in the television, we know that there are lots of people are watching at the same time. But whenever we do an audio program, we have to do that program for an individual. We have to believe, we have to think that in front of us, there is only a single person sitting in front of me, and I'm just speaking to him. So the art of storytelling should be for that particular individual. But at the same time, we have also to realize that millions, thousands and millions of people can listen at the same time. So that is the most important art in audio production. As we know that it has that immediacy, it has that mobility, and it has no boundary. And more interesting thing is that any audio program, a podcast, is special because of its simplicity. So the medium itself is very simple. Even if you produce any printed material, like any self-learning material, self-instructional material, or book, there are lots of processes involved in the production. For example, research is required. Of course, research is here also. Research is required, but research, then you have to write, you have to type it, you have to check the proof, and then in the printing process also there are lots of things associated in the layout, design, and then the cover, If there are any infographics, if you want to use, then the placement of the infographics, the production of the infographics, lots of it is a very critical process actually in the print form. But on the other hand, podcast or the audio format is very simple. The simplicity is the beauty of any audio program. Then the audio program has a different personality. So all the media have their own personality. For example, television has a personality. The social media or the new media has also its own personality. As you have noticed that during this COVID time, so there were lots of information disorder, including misinformation, disinformation, and the malinformation. And so it is associated its personality. Okay, so the digital media's personality is like that, that you may find lots of disinformation, you may find lots of malinformation, but people believe on radio, people believe on audio. So that is the personality of the audio program. So your podcast has also that personality. Then audio program, a podcast can surprise. A podcast, sometime if you listening to any series of podcasts, if you're listening to a series of programs, audio programs, and it may surprise you sometime. Can you remember that, for example, a tune of a Bollywood song or any folk song, if you listen to that particular tune after 30 years of later, then also you can realize, you can visualize that particular scene when you used to listen to that particular song frequently 30 years ago, or when you first you listen to that particular song. So it has that capacity that it can visualize you a particular, it can give you an environment, it can create an environment, it can create that particular feelings, it can give that particular feelings that you can remember, means you can go to that period, means 2-3 decades back. And again, as we generally say, that communication has 3 basic functions. One is to inform, to educate, and to entertain. And similarly, the audio program is useful, very, very useful as a medium for information, education, and also to entertainment. So these are very basic characteristics for the audio program. And see, a podcast can be of different format. So format, we generally say that it may be spoken word only, spoken word or the human voice. It may be a documentary, it may be a feature, it may be a magazine. So you may also use some music in the podcast. Podcast doesn't mean that only the human voice or the spoken words. So if you use a series of programs, it may be of you can use the format of feature or a documentary. So in the spoken word, it may be like the very simple kind of talks. It may be an interview, it may be a discussion, it may be a documentary or feature, it may be drama, it may be commentaries, it may be a magazine, or it may be a news-based or information-based program. So now that while planning for a podcast, you have to collect all the information, and the information should be in a logical order, so that your program, that your art of story, means storytelling, should be in a very smooth way. You can just deliver or disseminate your information to your target audience. Then the first, while writing a news story, we always ask our students that they have to follow the inverted pyramid structure. What is inverted pyramid structure? The lead means the beginning of the story should be very attractive so that you can grab the attention of your reader. Otherwise, the person or the reader is not going to read the whole story because a newspaper has 20 to 24, 30 pages, and it is not possible for a person to read the entire story. But if your beginning is interesting, then he may read the entire story. Similarly, in your podcast or in your educational audio program, also that is very important that your introduction and summary means how you summarize the entire program. Both the things should be very, very interesting. And there should be a link between the sections of the program. You may have different section of the program, and there should be a very smooth transition, very smooth link of the program. And there should be a rhythm, means although it may be only an audio program, but there should be a rhythm of the program and dissemination of information that is not available in the recorded form. Then you need to prepare a proper script for that. And in the Commonwealth of Learning, we developed one program, one model called Community Learning Program. And that community learning program is entirely based on formative research. And here in your podcast also, you have to listen to your target audience first. You have to do a minimum survey, minimum formative research like focus group discussion or the in-depth interviews to know their understanding on a particular topic. Then your program will be beautiful program. Otherwise, it will be a top-down kind of model, and then the people will not going to react in a very positive way. Means you may not get the positive feedback from the people because whatever you have already you are going to assume that your target audience has already that kind of understanding, but they may not have that kind of understanding. So that is why it is very important that you should know your target audience and the feedback of the target audience. Then only it will be a smooth and it will be an effective educational program. So I would like to inform you that script is very, very important. How I can just explain scripting? If I consider that scripting is an abbreviation, then I would try to explain S for silence, short and simple, C for complete and clear, R for radio or radio for the listeners, I for importance of words, no technical jargon should be used, P for pacing and picture, T for time, I for interactive and for natural and new, and G for grab the attention of the audience. So while preparing a script, you have to, or while developing a podcast or while developing an audio program, you have to feel the silence. Feeling the silence has a different kind of experience. See, the silence in the midnight in the city is different. The silence in a village in the midnight is different. Silence in a very far-flung area, very remote area, in the evening, late evening, 10, 11, in the night, that is different. Silence inside of a five-star hotel is also different. So to write something, we need the very basic things, that is a plain paper and a pen. Means a paper where we are going to write. Similarly, you need the silence where you are going to uh, where you are going to add the words for your listener. So these are very simple things that I wanted to share with you. And I know that you have lots of experiences, and I'm extremely sorry that I cannot give you means because these are the very simple things you also know, but I wanted to discuss with you. And as Sir has mentioned, I don't want to say that I'm busy, but in the real sense,
No,
I
no.
am in three, four projects, and one major project, the deadline is already gone, but I'm on extension, and so I'm working very hard to complete it. And another program is on means project is on Risk Journalism Hub. There is a global project. It is based in University of Melbourne, and I am representing South Asia. So I have a few works of that particular project also. So I'm extremely sorry I couldn't give you much input, but thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity, and I'll be very happy also in near future to be a part of this effort initiatives.
Yes, thank you, Ankuran. No, I know that. In fact, I still remember that when you went to United States, and you made us so proud by making your presentations there. And the people, they were, simply mad for you. Everybody wants to grab you, and similarly here also. In fact, I have liked a few points like the podcast has a personality, and a podcast may surprise you. Yeah, I
Yes.
simply like it. And thank you so much for staying with us. I know that you have to leave. So we look forward for our continued interactions. And
So just
thanks again.
only one thing I would like to answer here, that Mr. Satyanarayan Bora, so he
Hmm.
asked about radio mathematics and
Yes.
how podcast is helpful for enriching mathematical skills. And so, very simply, is just I would like to mention that the concept radio mathematics was initiated from SEMCA and from National Council for Science and Technology Communication, NCSTC of Government of India.
Yes.
And the radio mathematics, see, it is all about storytelling. If you tell a story in an effective way, then the people can remember. I'm just giving you one example. I'm a single parent, and my daughter is of around now, she is 9 years old. So I tell her different folk tales every night to make her sleep. And there is a very popular book in Assam is called Grandma's Folk Tales. And so I initially I read all these stories, although I knew all these stories, but I read all these stories. Nowadays, she remembered everything. And when my mother used to tell her story, she immediately says that grandma, so you are wrong. So it was not what you were just telling the story in this way. So in the written form, it was different. Okay, so means whatever you want to, it is the art of storytelling. If you tell the story in such a way, even the very complex things, I generally I have been working for last 2 decades on the inculcation of scientific temperament among the people, and so while discussing or disseminating about the scientific messages to the people, so that also if you can or to convince them, you need that particular skill of art of storytelling. So that is very important, and the means mathematical skills can also be disseminated through storytelling, and it may be very very useful medium, and for Mr. Boras, as I would like to mention here, and then so is there silence? Could you please talk about element of silence in
What,
podcast?
Ankuran, I have an idea what we will do.
Yes.
I will compile these questions and send it to you. Then you can create your podcasts on these issues, and we will add them to our course.
Okay, okay, sure. Okay, thank you so much. Then I would like to take leave now, and so I'll be very happy to be associated later. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes. Bye. Take care, and our best wishes for Alful. Thank you, Ankuran.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.